Welcome to Marketing Edge on TV, Nigeria's leading initiative in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. It is a 30-minute awesome package that comprises brand news, brand and focus, industry conversation, all in the mix, encompassing thorough and in-depth analysis aimed at promoting the brand idea. I am BUKKY Omoni. Stay tuned.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
We kick off Marketing Edge on TV with brand news, where we bring you the latest development around brands and on the field of marketing and advertising in Nigeria and around the world. Now on brand news. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, has revealed that preparations are underway to hold its annual trade fair exhibition amidst celebration in honor of its 37th anniversary. LCCI disclosed this during a press briefing in Lagos when it unveiled the 2023 edition of the annual Lagos International Trade Fair, scheduled to hold from November 3 to November 12. Addressing newsmen, Mr. Leye Kukoluyi, Chairman, Trade Promotion Board, LCCI, noted that this year's edition is special, being the 37th anniversary. Revealing the theme as connecting businesses, creating value, Kukoluyi explained that the fair would be declared open by President Bola Tinubu. According to him, the multiple specialized fairs to mark the LCCI's 37th anniversary included an entertainment village, children's corner, tech hub, Africa All, Lagos Island Connect, United Asia International Exhibition, and LCCI mentees. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria's latest half-yearly review report showed that the inventory of unsold finished products in the manufacturing sector saw a significant increase to 271.96 billion naira during the first half of 2023 as compared to 187.08 billion naira recorded in the corresponding period of 2022. This, it admitted, indicates a substantial rise of 84.88 billion naira by 45.4% over this time frame. The association said the increase in inventory can be attributed to a weakened purchasing power of the consumers brought about by diminishing real household income, resulting from the ongoing escalation of inflationary pressures, compounded by the scarcity of naira in the first quarter of the year and the aftermath of the subsidy removal. Meanwhile, according to Segun Ajayi Kadri, Director General, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, a total of 3,567 jobs were lost in the manufacturing sector in the first half of 2023, representing an increase of 1,855 in job losses when compared with the 1,709 jobs lost in the corresponding period in 2022. And an increase of 805 jobs lost when compared with 2,708 jobs lost in the second half of 2022. Director General, Standards Organization of Nigeria, Farouk Salim, has called on manufacturers to up their games in product quality by ensuring that products meet the requirements and satisfy customers' needs simultaneously. The DG advised manufacturers to standardize their products and carry out necessary quality assurance procedures for the best quality to promote economic growth. The Product Standardization Umpire made this statement at a one-day general sensitization workshop organized by SON in Akwa Ibom State with the theme Promoting Exports and Economic Growth via Standardization and Quality Assurance. Speaking on behalf of the Director General, Usman Muhammad, the South-South Regional Director, said the major problem with the rejection of Nigeria's export is due to a lack of standards, noting that achieving success in this area continues to be a challenge for many in the industry. As a mitigating measure against multiple taxation, leading network service providers in Nigeria have disclosed that network users might soon be paying different prices in different states for calls, data, SMS, and other services. Gbenga Adebayo, Chairman, Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria, said the cost of providing services in some states is higher than in others and maintained that it should be reflected in the provision of services. According to the Alton chief, some states have multiple taxes and the companies must pass the cost of doing businesses in such states to the subscribers. He added that telecommunication firms in the country have notified the Nigerian Communications Commission of their plans, adding that when implemented, this move would ensure that tariffs for telecom services across Nigeria will vary, making the price of calls higher or cheaper depending on the location. Highlighting the ever-evolving landscape of digital advertising and the need to push the boundaries of what is possible in the field of ad tech, Denso, a prominent player in the advertising industry, is spearheading a groundbreaking initiative to introduce keyword-based contextual targeting and brand safety controls to programmatic connected TV buying. This move aims to address what agency executives have identified as a significant gap in the market. It allows advertisers to leverage data-driven and automated methods to target their desired audience with relevant video ads on CTV screen. Denso's innovative solution, known as Contextual Intelligence for CTV, leverages cutting-edge technology from ad tech partners such as Gamgam's Verity and Iris TV. What sets this approach apart is the ability to eliminate the relevance on cookies and personal identifiers, a departure from traditional methods. That was brand news. Next is Branding Focus, just after the break.
Every day brings memories that shows us the whole story. I believe and I dare to dream. Where special love sends laughter in the air. Nutri-Milk, I'm a drink away from making memories. Nutri-Milk, all good things in just one drink. Nutri-Milk, everybody say share Nutri-Milk, share love. Share Nutri-Milk, share love.
Share Nutri-Milk, share love.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
Now on Branding Focus. The year 2023 is speeding on the final lap, and much of the global market's gains have been driven by big tech. For instance, Alphabet, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla shares have risen 48, 32, 184, and 100% respectively, with the rest of the market flocking to big tech. However, while these big tech companies are playing leading and strategic roles in the S&P 500, Coca-Cola, though down 9% year-to-date on the global stock market, maintains a compelling status. According to Statista, Coca-Cola has a global brand value of over $89 billion and has invested over $4 billion in advertising spending in recent years. This investment has continued to bolster its valuation appeal in all marketing ramifications. What's more, Coca-Cola, with dozens of billion-dollar brands on its stable and a global distribution network that reaches billions of customers daily, provides drinks for many of the world's biggest quick-service restaurant chains. Put simply, this established position has major business partner to restaurants, grocery stores, and convenience stores around the world means that Coca-Cola is a cornerstone to many businesses' sales and profitability. As a result, many businesses around the world depend on Coca-Cola to sell high volumes of high-margin beverages with the unrelenting consistencies their customers demand. In fact, businesses need Coca-Cola virtually in every type of economy. Also, Coca-Cola HBC, a strategic bottling partner of the Coca-Cola Company, bottles and sells beverages exclusively in 29 markets. It also partners with other beverage businesses such as Monster Energy, Earthington, Brown-Forman, and Campari to sell their products. Coca-Cola HBC creates value for all its stakeholders by supporting the socio-economic development of the societies in which it operates and believes that building a more positive environmental impact is integral to the future growth of the company. At the global stock market, Coca-Cola stock is about half as volatile as the overall market. It has a low beta because the market simply has a higher degree of confidence in Coca-Cola's durability compared to many other stocks. So its stock has become a very attractive investment relative to the perceived underlying risk. Coca-Cola's scaled distribution and strong marketing mix, combined with its cornerstone status and low level of volatility compared to the S&P 500, makes it an exceptionally compelling global brand. Welcome back. Next is Industry Conversation, where we have discussions with industry thought leaders who have distinguished themselves in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. Today, my guest is a mad tech enthusiast. Join me right after the break.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
Many thanks for joining us on Industry Conversation. My guest today is the award-winning chartered marketer, BUKKY OSUNKEYE. Good afternoon, ma, and welcome to the conversation.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. So let's move right into this. What is your assessment of the integrated marketing communications industry as a whole?
The integrated marketing communications industry in Nigeria, where I would say we're quite creative, you know, as an industry in our field. I like the way that we think. I like the way we process information, the way we develop insights into, you know, into campaigns. But if I was to compare us to where our global counterparts are now, with the advent of technology, I'd say we have a lot of catching up to do. Across Africa, yes, you know, we are quite advanced. I see a lot of companies being invited to, you know, support other IMC companies around Africa in terms of, you know, the cross-functional teams. But globally, we need to start moving faster than we are right now.
Okay, great. So talking about IMC practitioners, what do you think should be the learnings they should take away from this season, this, you know, the economic season we are in right now?
Okay, so there's two things that is happening in the economy right now. Is that one, Nigeria is facing a huge challenge with the, you know, with inflation, number one, with the loss of value in our currency. You know, and so it's forcing a lot of marketers to start looking inwards to see how they can increase their share of voice in the marketplace while still keeping at the same expenditure or even reduce their budget. So one, we need to get more creative, right? We need to get more creative. We need to look for ways to squeeze and get more value at the same cost. Don't squeeze the budget. No, like this is not the time to be cutting marketing budgets at all. You know, this is the time to think of how much more value you can get from the same budget. But then the biggest thing that we're seeing in the industry is the way technology is shaping how we do marketing. I for one, I'm concerned. I'm concerned because I feel like we're not seeing enough practitioners jumping on, you know, on the bandwagon of AI technology and all the other tools that just fast-tracked the field as a whole. You know, where, you know, we're growing at a rate, you know, the rate at which we're growing in the past few years is not how we've grown in the past, how the industry has grown in the past 2 years. So I need marketers to start to catch up very, very fast. If not, 2024 comes and you're going to see a lot of people redundant simply because they didn't take that leap, you know, as soon as technology came and advanced the industry.
Okay, great. So let's talk about ad spend. It is known that when economic challenges rise, ad spend is usually the first thing to cut. How would you advise professionals, you know, to paddle their canoes in such situations?
One, marketers, IMC practitioners, they need to be more, to be more strategic, and they need to be able to put their foot down to the finance department, you know, be it if it's the ad agencies or in-house marketing teams. Because yes, the finance department and the people in control of the budgets will tell you that that's the area they want to cut first. But you know, one of the things that we've learned in senior management is that finance people are always looking for places to cut the budget anyway. So don't let them touch your money. Why? Because this is the time when you need to be at the time when we have a crisis in the economy, it's not the time to stop spending. You actually have to increase spend to ensure that your brand becomes the one that is top of mind when customers are faced with increased choice, where they have to cut their own spend and where they have to make difficult choices in terms of shifting their monies. So you want to ensure that your marketing budget stays the same or even increases. So this is the time to bring out your negotiation skills, because you're going to have to be negotiating with the finance team to explain to them and to showcase exactly where you're spending that money so that your budget doesn't get cut.
So I know that you are a math tech enthusiast. So what do you think are the tech-led shifts disrupting marketing in recent times?
That's a great question. I'm known to be very, very passionate about marketing technology, right? Being as I'm one previous marketing expert, I would say marketing professional, and now moved into founding my own tech companies. So one of the things that I'm finding is that the products that are being developed more and more in the past 5 years, 3 years, 2 years are technology products. And these startups are going to need skilled, experienced, knowledgeable marketers to lead the growth in their organizations. So what we have is that the traditional marketers were not used to conversion marketing. They were not used to performance marketing. The traditional marketers were brand builders and advertising media buyers. So we need to see a shift where these guys are moving into understanding data, understanding how to manipulate data to create better targeted marketing, right? So how do you do that? You start learning how to use the tools. There's a plethora of tools that have been developed, that have been created, that are functioning in the marketplace, that have come up in the past 10 years. So, for any young marketer there who's listening, or any senior, marketing manager right now, my advice to them is to get your team on board in learning the new marketing technology tools that enable you to perform better in your job, that help you to bring out more value, that help you to, give a better value to your marketing budget.
Okay, great. So let's quickly touch base with social media and tools like you mentioned. Do you think that Nigerian marketers they're leveraging TikTok as much as they should, for effective marketing?
TikTok is just one of the many platforms. It's just one of the many social media platforms. Traditionally, we used to focus a lot of our social media budget on Facebook. Then, we now moved on to Instagram. Then I saw there was a point where a lot of marketing budgets had, a specific line item for Snapchat, but Snapchat is not that, the penetration for Snapchat is no longer as deep. So for me, it's a question of just ensuring that you have a budget and a strategy for every single touch point, not just TikTok. TikTok is one of the platforms. It's one of the play areas, the playgrounds of the Gen Z, right? So if you want to capture a Gen Z, consumer today, somebody who's coming new into the marketplace, who has their own disposable income, that can make the choices to purchase choices independent of parents. Yes, you need to take TikTok very seriously. But a piece of advice I would give to brands is learn how to play on that platform specifically. You cannot take material that was created for another social media platform and just re-engineer it for TikTok. You have to be thinking specifically in terms of how people play in that platform. So, for example, with skits, you can't just take an advertising material that's maybe 3 minutes long and then shorten it and put the 60-second version on TikTok. You have to independently create content specifically for that platform to be able to win on that platform. So we're looking at situations now where, marketing teams are asking, are building teams whereby each professional is skilled in a particular platform. So in each marketing team, you have someone who's skilled in TikTok, someone who's skilled in Instagram. The other day I saw a job offer from one of my previous business partners. She's looking for a LinkedIn, specifically LinkedIn marketing professional, because that's the major platform for their own brand. So you can't come into their department and say, yes, I'm a generalist in marketing, whereby what they really need is somebody who's an expert in LinkedIn.
Awesome. So let's talk about performance marketing and brand marketing. Which would you say is the best option and why?
There is no best. There is just being strategic. There is being strategic as a marketing professional, and there is using the insights to know your next, your next tactic, right? You're led by insights. But personally, when when I led marketing teams, I would always take my marketing budget and give a certain percentage to brand building and a certain percentage to growth marketing, right? Which which was traditionally called performance marketing then. But I think the fancy terminology for all types of marketing that is focused on specific returns is obviously growth marketing now. And why do we split the budget? Because you need to engage in some kinds of marketing that reinforces your brand identity and your unique selling proposition and your value, right? And you need to do that on a consistent basis. But at the same time, the business was set up as a going concern to grow customers and to grow value and to grow profit. So that's where performance marketing is focused. I would say it really depends on what kind of brand you're running. If you're a tech brand, if you're a startup, right, and you know that you really want to take over the market in a quick, in no time, take a huge bunch of that budget and put it towards conversion marketing, where on a daily basis, on a month-on-month basis, you're growing your customer base. So some marketing budgets you find are 40% towards brand building, 60% towards performance marketing. Sometimes you might reduce that 10% towards brand identity and 90%. But it really depends on what kind of product you're selling.
Okay, great. So let's talk about there's an assumption amongst chief marketing officers that the marketing ecosystem is under identity crisis. Do you agree with this, and why?
Identity crisis for the marketing ecosystem. I think the marketers that we have today need to have a lot more chutzpah. And when we say chutzpah, I mean negotiation skills, strength, presence, communication skills. Why? Your budgets are under attack, right? So you can't just take what comes from above. And you have some certain kind of companies where the CEO determines where you advertise. You have some companies where the CFO determines where your budget is. But at the end of the day, every single marketer needs to defend their budget. They need to have the presence of mind to go in there and talk numbers. So I want to see a situation where marketers are more numbers focused. If you were given a budget last month of, say, I don't know, $200,000, right? And this quarter you're asking for $250,000. First, show the numbers. Tell us how much conversion, how much profit we increased, how much how many new customers came into the pot, and how many of the old customers we retained. You need to be more about the data and more about selling yourself, selling your plan to be able to get more money. So in terms of identity crisis, I just need to see marketers being more communicative about what they're doing, okay? So that you're not seen as just some cost center in the organization that's always taking money, but you can't see the value. You need to be able to communicate your value on a month-on-month basis, on a quarterly basis, in those those Monday morning meetings that a lot of those companies have that have the salespeople shaking. Marketers need to come in there and prove your worth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned advertising earlier. So I wanted to ask, what do you think has changed in the advertising landscape in terms of personnel, operations, and creative business? What has changed over the years?
What has changed over the years? I would say for someone like me that's been in marketing and advertising for a good number of 20 years, I'd say, back then we used to have what we call the traditional marketing. And we used to say, we used to split roles a lot. We'd say, that's the department that does digital marketing, and that's the department that does, traditional marketing. And so digital marketing guys used to get less of a budget, right? And they were just, most departments would be one person or maximum 5. Now it's the reverse. We're now in an age where all businesses, the clients that we're working for, want to be more technology-led, right? So we're in the digital first economy, right? The departments, the advertising departments, the advertising agencies and the marketing departments are now more digital focused. They're now scrambling, looking for people who have been trained in digital marketing and in so many different aspects. We have SEO, we have PPC, and that sort of thing. So I like the fact that digital marketers are now getting a lot more respect. They've been in this field for 15, 10, 5 years, so whereas they were just a few in number, so we're now more digital focused. And so in terms of the changes, the split is changing. Okay. The diversity of the departments, now you can't even, if somebody comes to you, for a job, or they're moving or they're transitioning from a different organization to yours, the first thing you want to be asking them is that what aspects of digital marketing are you proficient in? That is the skill that we're looking for. It's skills first.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
And that's the much we can take on this week's episode of Marketing Edge on TV. Join us same time next week for the concluding conversation with BUKKY OSUNKEYE. I am Oluwabukola Omoni. Bye for now.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
So, I need students, but I need teachers.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything. If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Welcome to the transformative journey of Gombe State. Like a beautiful bride in the savannah, Gombe State is steadily growing to become a commercial and investment hub with accelerated development of world-class infrastructure, quality education, and healthcare. The jewel in the savannah, under the visionary leadership of Governor Inuwa Yahaya, is taking giant strides in the quest to making Gombe State a paradise in Nigeria's northeast region. Join us on this adventure every Thursday by 3:30 p.m. as we explore Gombe's transformative journey to greatness.
Is my fatherland. God bless Akwa.
We will invite all Akwa Ibomites to arise to the faith of greatness with our Rise agenda.
The sun is rising, the land is peaceful. It's so amazing that I can see. I want you to fly, yeah. I am the future, yeah.
For God so loved the world, and he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. In Proverbs 28 verse 13, the Bible says, he that covereth his sin shall not prosper. But whosoever confess them and forsake them shall have mercy. Unbelief is sin. Unforgiveness is sin. Selfishness is sin. I want to let you know, pride is sin. Contention, strife, giving malice, bearing grudge, lusting after evil thing, covetousness, love of money, love of the world, insincerity, disobedience, blasphemy, anger, envy, speaking evil of other people, backbiting, murmuring, cursing people, swearing with heaven and earth. All these are terrible sins. You must confess them, renounce them, and promise God no more.